Let's get on to the Arsenal game on Friday. That result against West Ham means that Friday is potentially quite a big game for Arsenal, Steve. They're going to be they're going to need to get all 3 points, aren't they? So 2 weeks running, though, they've blown a 2-0 lead. So is there a glimmer of hope we might get something?
Well, there's no point in us giving them a 2-0 lead because that would involve us scoring twice to get back into it, which probably isn't going to happen. I guess charitably, you would say that over the course of the season, our better performances have largely come against the better teams. We got a point in the reverse fixture and thoroughly deserved to. So yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, Arsenal, the backside seems to have come out of them the last week and a half or so. So yeah, maybe we can go there and put a bit more pressure on them. But I mean, based on what we've witnessed in the last couple of games, I'm not. Well, I mean, the last certainly this 90 minutes. City game's a little bit different, I think, but certainly what we saw yesterday, I wouldn't be pinning any sort of hopes on it. That's for sure.
What have you made of their season, Glenn? I mean, firstly, I think my first question, does it really matter about Friday night? I kind of think like we're going to go there, we're going to get turned over, and that's that. It's almost sort of irrelevant, really, isn't it? We can try and talk it up and say, well, we might get a point or we might be able to put in a good performance, but we kind of know that it ain't going to happen.
Okay, well, seven games to go. You can't afford to give up any game now. You know, you've got to go there with a game plan to try and win it. It's laughable in itself, but there's no logic to suggest that we can do that. You would think it would be a pretty routine game. The only, you know, we've had many games this season where we've played teams that, for whatever reason, have been in desperate trouble. Like we played Villa before, you know, when Steven Gerrard was still in charge, and they'd lost 7 games in a row. We played Forest when they not only got a point away all season or 1 goal or whatever. And you need to go into those games and get your foot on the throat and be ruthless. But every game we've had like that this season against a team that's had any sort of jitters, we've just gone in and been passive and rubbish. So, yeah, I mean, Arsenal could be in full choke mode, which they appear to be in. But yeah, I mean, if we had anything about us, you could think, yeah, we'll cause them a few problems. We'll go at it hard in the first 15 minutes and see how much they really want to get back on track, or whether they're just all feeling sorry for themselves. But I don't expect we'll do that. I expect Sellers to send us up there probably with no striker again.
Trying not to lose.
Trying to mimic the Spanish team that he probably grew up watching when Cesc Fabregas was the false 9 or whatever. It's interesting, that, isn't it? Because you know, the teams that have played false 9s, you kind of think of Spain, who had all these brilliant midfield players, and they'd keep the ball for 90% of the time, and then eventually one of them would pop up and score. You think City last year did exactly the same thing, and we're trying to do it with the players that we've got. You know, we're trying to mimic 2 elite teams. So I don't know what plan he's going to go in with. I mean, I'd be tempted to just go, you know, the most basic 4-4-2 you can possibly get, and get crosses into the box and see how much their central defenders like it. But I very much doubt we'll do that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does. I mean, I think defensively, you know, Walker-Peters and Perro against Martinelli and Saka, that, you know, we could potentially come out on top there. But the one we got to watch is Odegaard. Odegaard joining in from midfield. He plays roughly the same role that Eza played for Crystal Palace yesterday. And if Lavia and Ward-Prowse are not tracking him, or we're not doing a job there, maybe it's a game for someone like Diallo to come in and give us a third body in there. But we have to have an attacking threat because we have to try and score. But don't hold out much hope. But there is an opportunity there, simply because Arsenal have wobbled the last week or so. But don't hold your breath.
It's going to require 11 players playing at their absolute best, isn't it, Alfie? Really, there's not going to be many opportunities. So when we do get a chance, they're going to have to be ruthless. And of course, they've they haven't been doing that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see that, wouldn't it? I think, like I say, having some forwards on the pitch might help. And to be fair, they have created chances in the last couple of games, so I think the opportunity is there. But if there's one thing I would like to see for the rest of the season, I think it's because the football isn't giving us much hope. I want to see somebody who's making decisions, somebody who's running the club day to day, come out publicly and acknowledge that they have made errors this season. We all make mistakes. Unfortunately, these ones will be costly, but and it's not been an easy year either. I think for 4 years of Gao Zhisheng after the Chinese foreign policy change had left the club pretty stale, and it was only going to head in one way without the cash injection that we've had, regardless. But I just think if you weren't going to back Ralph, you should have got rid of him sooner. When you did, you brought in Nathan Jones. You didn't get Ralph a striker. You've doubled down on this youth policy that has got us so many sellable assets: Romeo Lavia, Bella-Kotchap, really exciting players who we're immensely grateful for, but clearly haven't got it mentally to put it together without the experience. You've got Gavin Bazunu in goal, who just needed somebody as a number 2 who could challenge him.
Oh.
There's no number 2. There's no number 2 at the club. Alex McCarthy and Willie Caballero, clearly neither of them can do it anymore, otherwise they'd be playing. And look, when they got rid of Nathan Jones after the January recruitment, we've seen the January, none of them made an impact. Charlie Alcaraz, to be fair, actually a very good signing. Charlie Alcaraz is a very good signing, but Onuachu, Orsic, even Camel Dean, really, who's also a good player. Nobody scored a goal. And then they replaced Jones with Ruben Sellers. Jesse Marsh was close, and we know that Jesse ended up walking away on day 2 of the negotiations. And you've ended up with somebody somehow who is going to be even more disliked than Nathan Jones by the end of the season. So I hope that somebody
Steady on.
Maybe I can hope that somebody can acknowledge that they make mistakes. And the best thing about football is next season, if they start winning games, people will forget all about it. And if they do keep winning games, they win 30, 35 games, they'll be back up and we can all move on and we'll all be buzzing again. It'll be a new era. But I just hope that somebody can acknowledge that things have gone wrong this year.
My biggest concern is that the team we have at the moment will struggle in the Championship next year. I see a lot of people talking online about, who would be your preferred 11 and who's going to start. And have we got someone that's going to score 25 goals next year? That's what really worries me at the moment.
To Sport Republic's credit, I think they'll spend in the summer. If they go down, I think they will invest, and I think they will try and create a squad that can then take on the Championship. To be fair to them, they've already come out and said that the financial is going to be okay. I think they're going to need to raise sort of £50 million worth of player sales, but that's not going to be hard because there's going to be so many players.
That's Lavia gone, and that's
Ward-Prowse,
and then the rest will be reinvested, and hopefully, and I think it's not all doom and gloom, but
but it's not looking great. Let's do some score predictions for Friday night then. That's our favourite part of the podcast. I'm going to get in there early and go for the 4-0 defeat, Mr. Optimistic. Glenn, you actually, I think, were the only person that predicted the defeat to Palace. So I think you said 1-0 for that, but you were the closest. The rest of us were trying to be a bit more optimistic. So best shot for Arsenal?
3.
Okay.
Win. 3.
No, it's fine. I know what you mean. Yeah. Steve?
I'm going to go for the optimistic 3-1 defeat.
Okay.
The optimism being that we will score.
Yeah, Walcott, muted celebrations.
Well, no, I'm kind of thinking Aaron Ramsdale flapping a corner into his own net, maybe.
So not even one of our players.
No,
that's what we're reduced to.
Hey, we'll take that. Alfie?
Yeah, I don't think it matters at all, really. But I say 2-0, and we'll go Martinelli and Saka.
Okay, fair dues.